do it.
All right, welcome to the first podcast of Collaborating with Killers. My name is Nate, and this is Jason. What we're basically trying to put together here is a podcast where we're going to highlight Jason's life and a lot of the artwork that he's done over the years. The first thing we're going to do, or this first episode, is more of an introduction to Jason, where he's going to kind of give us his past, and I'm going to ask him a bunch of questions about it. And then we'll give you a little preview of our first official episode where we'll go over one of the killers Jason's interviewed with. All right? So,
Yeah,
and bear with us. This is our first ever doing this ever. We literally just hit record. So, all right. So, Jason, why don't you kick us off? How'd you get into this? Where's the story start?
Okay. So the background. I was brought up in a very strict religious Christian home. I didn't get to spend any time really up through teenagers outside really the church and other church kids. I wasn't allowed to play with other people and stuff. So I had a very
And you said
in the box.
You were homeschooled.
I was homeschooled. Yeah, I went to a Mennonite school for a while, and then I was homeschooled.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was homeschool like?
It was horrible. See, and the thing about me is I have ADHD, I'm bipolar, and I'm autistic, and I didn't know all that shit as a kid. So I was thrown into, schools and church for 5 hours at a time, expected to behave and sit still, and everything's driving me friggin' nuts. People turning pages and all that. So
Oh, so you're
so
hypersensitive.
people, yeah. All I wanted to do as a kid was get away from people, honestly, and not necessarily that I didn't like the people. It was the autism, the sound, the sensory stuff made it really hard, and still can be difficult. But I'm around people that understand my disabilities.
Yeah. What would you do at church for 5 hours at a time?
Well, so they would want, my parents would teach a class, so we'd go to a class, and then after all that was said and done, we'd have to, you'd mingle, and then we would go to the adult service with my parents, so we'd go to another service,
Yeah.
and then you'd get together and do the brunch thing after, so it was hours.
Okay.
It was the whole day. So my whole thing was, I was stuffed in school and church, so I had one friggin' day a week that I could enjoy life.
Yeah.
Saturday, I could just go out in the woods, man.
Okay.
Nothing driving me up the wall.
All right. You spent a lot of time in the woods.
Yes.
So I see you
Tons.
were there
I still
naked
love
in the woods.
I love the woods. I still do.
Okay.
Yeah, but hunting, fishing, hiking, camping, all that stuff, I still do.
So I take it the going to the church was a big turnoff from religion.
It was. Yeah. Yeah, and I was religious up until my 30s. I believed the Bible, and but I didn't. I never dove into it It's hard to explain. I never thought outside of the box, really. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
This is it.
This is it. Never bothered to think much about stuff till about 10 years ago. But yeah, I was not a fan of church at all, and I
So,
would not
Not to jump ahead here a little bit, but
Yeah.
even when you were doing heroin and homeless and in jail, you were still this is it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and I was friends with pastors and stuff. So yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Wow.
I had people to always tell me, "Oh, this is it. This is," you know what I mean?
So what? So you it seems like you lived kind of almost not an Amish life, but you said Mennonite.
Mennonite, yeah.
So you said you do a lot of hunting and fishing back then.
Yeah.
And then eventually you end up on a farm. Is
Yeah,
that
I
during
worked on a
school?
farm when I was 15. I was working full time on a farm.
Okay.
Yeah, which was great for me because it gave me an excuse to get away from church.
Yeah.
And so much school became me doing shit by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what you need to do. Here's tests. Study this.
Yeah.
Just because my parents realized, not what it was, but they realized I had these sensory issues,
Okay.
autism and stuff.
So then from school, where do we go?
Playing in bands.
Okay.
That's
Did you learn music in school? Or is this something you taught
No.
yourself?
No. No, I actually I couldn't when they were doing music class. I was out in the trailers
Mhm.
for special ed because
Yeah. So what?
I struggled in school, man.
So you get out of school, you start doing bands. What did you listen to the punk music, the metal music? That you
Yeah,
listen to now?
I discovered in Christian metal.
Uh-huh.
And I
Christian
loved
metal.
it when I was like 15.
Okay.
Yeah, in a Christian bookstore. And my parents were like, they didn't know there was such a thing, so they couldn't, I'm like, well, here's the lyrics. So they let me listen to it. So right away, I was like, I love
This
death metal. Like,
Yeah.
I found some other Christian kids in church that were into hardcore punk metal and stuff.
Interesting.
And we just started jamming out. We got on a CD. The first band I was in when I was 15 got on a CD.
On
With a whole bunch of other bands. Yeah, with a whole bunch of compilation. A whole
What?
bunch of other bands and
We're
stuff.
definitely have to dig that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
so,
it was cool. Yeah.
so what? So I take it you've been to a Christian metal concert?
Yeah, lots. I went to a festival that was
Do they
2
mosh?
weeks long. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beat each other up
Yeah.
in the name of Jesus?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. You think Jesus would have moshed?
He wouldn't have to. He'd just rise above it and he'd crowd surf
Oh.
like this,
Oh.
walk.
Like
Like
walk
the way
on the
you walked
crowd?
on water.
Oh. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So you get in metal, you get the bands.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're gonna get into drug use. Does that start right out of high school?
Yeah, when I was 18, I started
When we say drugs, we're doing what? Alcohol,
drinking
marijuana.
and weed were the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah.
And as soon as I did it, that's all I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which wasn't the case, you know what I mean? It was like, I had stuff to do and this and that, but man, whenever I could or had money, yeah.
It was.
And that becomes my trend here till.
So I guess we're moving into that.
Yeah,
phase.
yeah.
So you start doing drugs, you start smoking weed, doing alcohol.
Yeah.
Then obviously this gets dark quick. Does it get dark quick, or does it take a while to get dark?
Yeah, it gets bad. Yeah, because
I mean, would you say
my
like,
early 20s, I was homeless till 10 years ago.
Let's
So
start with the
long
homelessness. You get homeless because
I left my parents when I was 18 and moved into my car. Like, I had enough of the religion, had enough of being told what to do. I told them I was leaving when I was 18. I left when I was 18.
You're just like.
So that was the
"Ow,
beginning.
let's get
Yeah,
wild."
yeah. That was a lot of it living in the car.
And how did you Did you work during this?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I almost always worked in my homeless time till the heroin really hit years later, and I was like, I'm not going to work.
So let's go. So let's say we're in your 20s. So were you just in most of your 20s? You were in a car.
Yeah.
Or homeless?
Yeah. A lot of woods, a lot of tent living.
Okay.
Until it becomes more like ghettos and crack houses and abandos and shit later. But yeah.
Is that because of the winter? 'Cause I'm trying to picture.
Partly that, but that's where the drugs were.
Okay.
So if I could go back, I would have stayed in the woods, man, because it really didn't bother me living in the woods. It still wouldn't. I love my family, but you know what I mean. If I didn't have my family, it wouldn't hurt me living in the woods.
Okay.
I know how to live very comfortably in the woods.
How'd you do it?
But ghettos suck. The winter's staying warm, so it's not fun. But
Yeah.
then again, if you're working a job and picking up overtime and shit, I
Okay.
do stuff like that. Go back to the tent, extra
So-
blankets and shit.
So when did you start drawing and getting into all, we'll get to the killers part, but.
Yeah.
So were you
Well-
always drawing then and doing your artwork?
I sketched a little bit just for school,
Yeah,
a little bit here and there, but nothing like this.
yeah.
And my early 20s, I just started since I was a teenager, I was fascinated with killers. So
Mm-hmm.
once I got charcoal, a
Mhm.
big pad, and just started drawing portraits of
Mhm.
mostly cannibals, Ed Gein, Albert Fish.
Yeah. Yeah, the cannibals.
Cannibals, yeah, because if you're eating people, you got a crazy fucking story. You know what I mean? There's something
Yeah, you have a different perspective on things.
Yeah.
So you end up getting bad enough that you said you were like, what do you call it, a human trash can.
Yes, it didn't matter what drugs we were doing. I did heroin as it came along.
Mm-hmm.
Meth was the only drug that I was like, oh, this is horrible.
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep for days. I was depressed. Like I couldn't sleep for days.
Yeah.
And I'm already like insomniac-ish. Like
Yeah.
I would be up on all the other drugs. It was gonna take a lot to fucking.
That's why I've
just
always
knock
like,
me out.
avoided something like cocaine because I'm like I love coffee. I don't think
Yeah.
I can't imagine doing.
Coke was never my
Just-
favorite, but again, like especially if shit was free,
Yeah.
I was down.
Would you think the drug use was that? Were you depressed or were you just?
I was never happy.
Okay.
I was never happy. I was miserable as a kid,
Yeah.
mostly because of like my autism and shit and my surroundings.
Mhm.
Like I really was not a happy kid, and like I went from that like to not happy adult.
Mhm.
And all I wanted to do was drugs. I didn't know how else to be fucking happy. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
That's all I fucking knew.
Dopamine wasn't coming
Yeah,
from life.
yeah.
It was coming from.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So then eventually you end up in a jail,
Yeah,
and you said this was like on and off. Was this through your 30s?
yeah, through most of my 30s.
Because what you're
Started in
like
my
about my age. You're in mid 40s now.
Mid 40s,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So and in jail, how long were you? Like were these stints like 6 months, a year?
No, it was always like, because I never had any felonies.
Mhm.
I got like a DUI, and then like by that time I was doing heroin, and I wasn't gonna stop for probation, so it was just like years of me just. Probation would keep adding time. And,
Oh yeah. Once you're in
like
the system,
yeah, and then
you're in
I
the
would get
system.
caught with more simple possessions, which is more charges and just
Yeah.
shit like that. So like 6 or 7 times I went in, and the first time it'd be 30 days, then 60 days, then 90 days.
Yeah.
Like one of the last times was 7 months.
Oh yeah.
3.5 was in the hole, solitary
They
confinement.
put you in the hole for 3 months.
3.5 months
Straight?
yeah, I got out
Is that
twice.
legal?
I got out. It doesn't matter if it's not.
Yeah. Well,
But I got out twice a week to take a shower. That's it. Besides that, I was in a cell smaller than this
Outta here.
room.
Only
3.5
week.
months sitting there staring, and luckily I could draw. They
Ah.
brought me some art and shit like that, kept me sane.
Okay.
Sketching, cause yeah, no TV, no nothing, no electricity, no nothing. Like I went in there, and it was like bloody swastikas on the wall and grit and filth, like. And then they told me how long I was gonna be in there. I'm like, oh, I gotta clean this fucking cell.
Oh, so you ended up cleaning your own
Yeah,
cell? That's wild.
shirts and hot water and just scrubbing it, and like they
Yeah.
once every now and then. I don't even know if it was once a week. They would bring some cleaning supplies, but. They
You're
bring
like, well,
you.
at
They
least
bring
he's
you a
gonna do
tray.
it.
They feed you your little tray, like in the cell. Like you wouldn't get out at all. Yeah, and that was because I got caught making alcohol and giving tattoos inside of jail. So they frown upon that.
Get
So
out.
like
They frown
it's not
upon
like I was surprised. Or,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I was bored, but like 3.5 months in, I was yeah.
We're definitely doing an episode of how you make jail alcohol. Yeah. So okay, so you're in. So was that the last time?
There was one time after that.
Mhm.
At that time, I didn't care. I told a judge off. Like, yeah, they wanted to send me to rehab. I said, fuck you, I'm not going to stop doing drugs.
Yeah.
So they just sent me back to jail. And it was the time after that I went in, and I was like, that was the last time. I'm like, I'm tired. And I went in, and I was like, okay, I'll go to rehab. And like,
So
I'll
what
just do
would you
the-
say was like? I mean, obviously, other than going to jail repeatedly, what would you say was like the breaking point for you? Like, were you having
sick and tired of it, man. Like just years of the same old fucking thing. Just years of it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And then I moved. Like, as I was up closer to Philly, I moved back here
Mhm.
to where I grew up. So I didn't have like. It's hard to stay clean when you get out of jail and there's all your buddies already with heroin and shit. Like.
Yep. Greeting you at the door.
Yeah, it's like I'm out. Woo! So that was the one thing that gave me a little bit of a cushion. And once I got out, like the first year was hard.
Yeah.
2 years, I thought about it all the time. After 2 years, it was a
Really?
piece of
So
cake.
you're
And now,
you're
like,
2 years in, and you're still like, man, I want to.
it took a long
I mean,
time.
I've heard about
but that's the first time I ever did anything and had any willpower in my life.
Okay.
It was like 10 years ago when I stopped doing heroin. Like, I was a 30-some-year-old fucking child,
Yeah.
mentally.
Yeah.
Never grew up. Like,
And so throughout the time of being in jail, in and out of jail and stuff, were you still in these bands, and were you still?
little bit, but like a little bit, not much. One band, I had a couple of guys that like throughout it all would jam with me. You know,
Mhm.
like I get out of jail and we hook up and they jam. But there wasn't. I couldn't. It was really hard to get like. Once you got into the heroin all the time, daily, like, and you're sick or you're always trying to figure something out, like, because I was always a good worker. I was always consistent working, whether I was homeless or not.
Yeah.
But once the heroin got going, it was like
So having
I couldn't hold
never
down
done
a job and like.
Yeah. So
You're
having
sick,
never
you're
done
not
heroin,
heroin.
I gotta ask, like,
Yeah.
isn't it like you're once you do it, you're like on your ass? Because I don't understand how
usually
people get on stage.
Usually, but
You know,
like
jump
I'm
around.
wired different with chemically, so like it would keep me awake.
Okay.
Like, but everybody around me would like fucking nod. But yeah, just like some ADHD, if you have ADHD, like the medicine will slow you down, but like it'll speed somebody else up.
Okay.
Like I had like that kind of effect with like opiates.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes more sense to me then.
So I would just
Because I've never
be
understood
awake
like
or
how
go to work or keep
famous
on
rock
trucking.
stars, yeah, are on stage.
Well, like, and when I met Josh, my drummer, like, when we first met, we were both, like, messing around, like,
Mhm.
and, well, we're both clean now, but, like, yeah, we would did dope a few times when we first met. And, like, I wanted to jam, and I'd get up there, and he'd go, okay, and just, like, pass out behind the drum set. I'm like, dude, just kicking the set, like, wake up!
That's
But, yeah, the norm is to, like, just fucking,
to go down.
yeah.
So then you get clean. So then is this?
I get off heroin.
Yeah.
Well,
you're still-
opiates,
you're
and I'm
Calif-
still off, but
Well,
yeah.
you're California sober, as they say.
Yeah, but like I was drinking like gallon of vodka. a
Okay,
day.
okay.
Like,
I'm saying more now. But, so you get clean from heroin, but then
Yeah.
you're still kind of an
Yeah.
alcoholic.
yeah,
And
yeah.
So is this? So when you get clean from the heroin, is that when when you start getting into talking to the killers?
Yeah, a
And
little
what kind
bit.
of
Like
transition is
yeah.
that?
So about 8 years ago, like I 10 years ago, I stopped doing heroin. About 8 years ago, I met my wife, and that's like when I started like talking to killers.
Now what got you? What's that? I'm gonna write a letter.
The
to a serial
original.
killer.
So originally, my band was all about true crimes, serial
Mhm.
killers and stuff. Like we take lyrics from the bands and stuff, or lyrics from the killers. Sorry.
Mhm.
So like a song about Charles Manson would be nothing but quotes
Okay.
done by Charles Manson. So it's as if he wrote the song.
Yeah.
So we're all about true crime. And like I joined some true crime groups, and there was this one artist that had some really cool artwork, and his name was Nico Claw, and he wrote an autobiography. I'm like, why does this guy write an autobiography? And I found out he was a killer that did his time, and I reached out to him to do artwork for my band,
Mm-hmm.
and he gladly painted the cover for 10-Year-Old Stu.
Yeah. Okay.
And then he has a publishing company, so he liked some of the artwork I was doing and put some of my artwork in some of his books,
Mm-hmm.
which was awesome. That was
Yeah.
always a dream of mine as an artist, so that was so fucking cool.
Yeah.
So
So essentially, you were collaborating with this killer.
yes, and that's before I even wrote any killers.
Yeah.
I just thought it would be cool, and yeah, he was down, and we've done a bunch of projects and collaborations ever since.
Okay.
We'll probably
Yeah. Dive
be
back.
talking about him more
Yeah,
later.
So
But
let's jump to the first like.
the first killer that I wrote is Todd Colehep,
Okay.
and he reached out to me because he saw some artwork I did of him. He wanted to talk to the artist,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when like the light bulb went off, and I'm like, I started talking to him. I'm like, let me just try to like write a whole bunch of killers, and like I talked to over a dozen of them and worked with over a dozen of them, but I wrote like over 150 killers, like
Really?
hand wrote them,
Yeah.
sent sketches and stuff.
Yeah.
So
And then they
I
started-
went hard, but
Okay.
yeah, a bunch of them like wrote
they started
back
getting
and
replies.
they started doing artwork with me and sending me hand tracings. Like a lot of what you see here came from the Killers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So like this one right here would be a collaboration.
that's just in a handprint, and that's Jason Vukovic. He's not a killer. He was the guy that was in jail for beating up. What words I use?
Oh.
He was
Yeah, be careful.
assaulting
Okay.
People that were assaulting children. He went after those people
Oh.
with a hammer. So he was not a killer. And neither was Steve Nick. He's
Kind
in
of a
here
hero.
too. Yeah, we got Slug Away here too. But besides those two, they're all killers.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
So you start doing this, you start getting so basically you start getting way more into the artwork and stuff.
Yeah.
From there, then then the band, you're still doing the band the whole time?
Yeah. Still 10 years now. We're still doing the band. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. And you guys are getting ready to record.
Yeah. Yeah, we've done some. We have some more recording equipment, so we're gonna try to get busy and do a whole bunch.
Mm-hmm. And then you've also, because I think we're going to transition into talking about the next episode. But so you've been moving away from the Killers, and now you're getting more into kind of alternative states of mind.
Yeah.
Aliens, meditation.
Yeah. So like, it's about 2 years ago, I stopped drinking,
Yeah.
and like, I was a gallon of vodka a day drinker,
Yeah.
especially when I quit heroin, plus a case of beer. Like,
Yeah.
I drank a lot. Doctors told me my liver was fucked up,
Mm-hmm.
so I decided to quit because I like my life. I got a wife and kids now, so I quit drinking. And as a side effect, I kind of cleared out my head, and I realized I didn't know shit. Like, my education wasn't that great. So I started re-educating myself, like YouTube and stuff about science, history, and I kept like going from there to like all kinds of scientists, quantum physics, guys that are talking about aliens.
Like theoretical stuff.
Into spiritual gurus, channelers, psychics, like all kinds of stuff that I'm into now, like all altered states of mind. I started meditating and doing breath work.
Okay.
So-
Yeah, we're gonna get into that eventually.
Yeah. Meditation has been like life changing for me too.
I want to take a step back because I realized that we skipped this part I really want you to talk about.
Yeah.
Describe to me deathmatch wrestling. And how old were you? This goes back to your
This is like-
20s?
Yeah, 20,
Okay.
give or take. I was in like 5 matches because I always wanted to bring like a horror movie character to life. I was into serial killers, Leatherface.
Mhm.
So I made this. I had some friends in the backyard wrestling. So I was Misery. I wore a mask that was half leather, half barbed wire, and we had halogen light bulbs, like 20 of them over pits, and we'd set each other on fire. And we had like fans that we would silicone barbed wire on the blades
Yeah.
and plug them in and just like
Yeah.
it was a lot of blood,
So,
a lot of like I was
were
really
you a
like
mix-
I didn't like to pick fights and stuff,
Yeah.
but like I liked violence. So
Yeah.
like I was all cool, just gushing blood everywhere. Like I used to do this shit when I was playing live with my band. And then later in my early 20s, like I got into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I did lots of karate growing up. That's what
Yeah.
my parents actually let me do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
like,
you and I talked about jiu-jitsu.
yeah, that was fun till like, fuck, drugs and jujitsu do not add up. I
don't
had to
know
hang in
that.
the towel, dude. I'd go in and I was already so torn up from the night before. I'm like, these guys are just throwing me around.
Yeah. Were you a Mick Foley or Mankind fan?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You know, that was Misery. My wrestling character was a little bit of Mankind, a little bit of Leatherface.
Love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have any
I wish.
video? Oh man, that'd been
I
awesome.
love so much art, so much music, so much videos over the years, being homeless and through
Yeah.
jail. Yeah.
Okay, well, I think that's a good summary.
Yeah.
Because now I guess the
Did you want to talk about the Killers at all?
Well, I think we're going to transition that because I think what I wanted to do here is kind of tell your story because I feel like you're like a story people that are in that position could look up to, like in that like there is an outcome, like
Yes,
you're married,
that's
have
my biggest thing
kids,
to
you know
people
what I
is
mean?
anyone can change. Like homeless, drug addict, hardcore
Yeah.
for almost 20 years. And, now, wife, kids,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Happy
life.
life. Yeah. Band, friend, arts, music, friends. Yeah,
Yeah.
life's good.
Hell yeah. Let's move into killers. Do we want to talk about specific killers, or do we want to just highlight what's coming next for the next episode?
It's up to you. I mean, here's a few of the killers like I could talk about, or we could just go into.
Let's just let's highlight a couple that we're going to talk about, but don't give too much detail, and then let's just really give a small glimpse into the vampire.
Sure. So like it was over a dozen. So some of the guys we might do episodes are there's Scott the Hannibal Kimball. He's suspected of over 20 some killings. He's confirmed for. What's really funny about him is he bullshitted the FBI. Like he worked as an informant so he could get out of shit, and he never gave them any real information.
Why?
For years. he fucking toyed with the FBI before he finally got nailed. Yeah.
And then so you have collaborative stuff with him. We'll
Yeah.
do a show.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
There's actually one I did of him and one of his victims, and he did this part, the chainsaw and the leather face.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
he's not too bad.
No, he's a real good artist, and they vary from talent, from from the different artists. Howard Belcher, the Necktie Strangler, or as I like to call him, the 20-inch cock killer. But we'll get into that later.
I'm scared.
Haddon Clark, I have a ton of artwork from, and he's probably the darkest case that we might go into because he ate little kids.
Okay.
But he is super schizophrenic,
Hansel and
multiple
Gretel.
personalities, but like I have tons of artwork because I got artwork done by him through other people too, but I have talked to him through a few letters. There's Eddie Ruth, which is the Chris Kyle case, the American Sniper movie.
Okay.
The guy
Oh,
that,
he
that
killed-
killed him, the
Really?
American Sniper. I worked
Oh,
with
we did-
him,
We did talk
and
about
he's
that.
right up there.
Oh, Jesus.
And yeah, he's one of the killers where like he didn't go out to like kill and hurt kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
PTSD and snapped at a range. So
Oh, yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
that's
I
probably-
feel bad for him in a way. Like
Yeah.
Jonathan Cruz, the Purge killer. I talked to him on the phone for a little bit. And there's a whole bunch of other killers. I never worked with BTK. He's a well-known Dennis Rader, but he did sign a bunch of artwork I did, so he knows about my artwork.
Do you ever get paranoid these people might, if they get out?
Everybody's doing life.
Oh, good.
Everybody's doing.
Good.
Nobody's getting out except for the guys that didn't kill someone.
Yeah.
And I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
So if some of these guys were getting out, like the one we're going to talk about, remember I had a scare and I told you, hey man, I was going to pull the plug with like the episode, communicating with them, everything.
Yeah.
But it was just a miscommunication. But yeah. Joshua Rudiger, the vampire slasher.
And this is what we're going to get into in the official first episode. This will be the first one.
This will be the first episode. And
So give us more of a bigger highlight about this guy.
This guy was slashing throats
Mm-hmm.
and drinking their blood of victims,
Mhm.
not even really bothering to see if they were alive or dead. Just and cut.
Would he
So-
bite him and do this?
Yeah,
would he,
he'd slash them with like a box cutter or a knife. Like
Yeah.
one of them was sleeping. He just woke up to this dude just drinking blood out of his throat.
Ooh.
So yeah, and super schizophrenic. He claims to be a 2,000-year-old vampire. And he stuck to that story. Like we'll get into it. Like you think like some people just say some shit because they want an insanity plea. This dude was fucking crazy and thinks he's a 2,000-year-old vampire like his whole life.
Yeah.
So he's like nuts.
Okay.
Where
Where was he located? What was the?
California.
Okay.
California. And he would call me at night and tell me stories about, he was there when the world was created,
Yeah.
talking to God, fighting in Vietnam. But I'll save more of his stories
Yeah. Let's.
for the our first
We'll
episode.
do some artwork. We'll show some
Yeah.
artwork and do some stuff like that. I don't know, man. I think that's a pretty good start.
It is.
Pretty good intro.
Yeah.
So next episode is going to be the Vampire Slayer. What's his name?
Vampire Slasher.
Vampire Slasher.
Joshua Rudiger.
Joshua Rudiger.
We will see
All
you
right.
then.
Yeah. So do all the YouTube stuff. Like, subscribe, comment on what you want to see. Thanks for tuning in. and hopefully we'll get a bunch of this stuff out to you. Peace.